Okay, so this is my rowing boat, Northern Reach, and I originally built it, now it's been 4 years ago. I successfully rowed it from Scotland, north through the Orkneys and the Shetlands, and then out to the Faroes for 40 miles, and I had to turn around. It was too rough. That was 2011. 2012, I then left, again, Scotland from the Hebrides and arrived here in the Faroes in late July of 2012. 2013, I was back in the United States working, and here we are, 2014, so it's been a year and a half since I've seen the boat. And it's gathered a little dust, but it's in very good shape. And what I've done since I've been here is to put 3 layers of extra fiberglass on the hull because the trip has been extended. I originally had planned just to go from Scotland to the Faroes to Iceland, and now I've extended that trip to Iceland and then hopefully to Greenland, and if that goes well, to eastern Canada. So I'm going to be in the ice. So I wanted to strengthen the hull. So I've done that, and it's got a fresh coat of paint on it. And now I will put her in the water tomorrow, and I'll load it with I have about, let's see, 50 days of food on board and about 3 weeks of water, and this will be primarily a rowing trip, but I also have a sail and and for downwind, the most important thing that I have is a kite, and that I will fly about 30 meters above the boat, and with a downwind scenario, I can be rowing and kite sailing and moving at about 6 knots. And then after I do the full day of rowing, I can actually get into the forward compartment. I can crawl into the forward compartment. It's completely lined with foam, and I can lock the hatch. I can open up my ventilation, and the kite will still be pulling the boat at about 3 knots. So in a 24-hour period, if I can average 4 knots, that's almost 100 miles. Now that is ideal. I don't know if that is actually going to happen, of course, but that would be the best scenario, in which case it would take about 4 days for me to go from Vestmanna, Faroes, to Iceland. So the boat has 8 compartments, 1 up forward, 1 aft, and in this middle portion of the boat there are 3 compartments on both sides. So the boat is, I'd like to think that the boat is unsinkable. I believe it is because of all of these compartments. And let's see, the other part of this whole key part of the boat is a sliding seat. Unlike the rowing boats in the Faroes, this has a sliding seat, so I can use the power of my legs as well as just my arms. So this is the first half of the trip, basically. The Faroe Islands are down here. From Vestmanna to the Westman Islands is about 370 nautical miles. If all goes well, that will take me 4 days, ideally. But if it doesn't go well, that's okay. I'm prepared to make that, or if I have to take 10 days to do that trip, I can, and that's just fine. From the Vestman Islands, I'll go due east until I hit the first evidence of any ice, ice the size of a dinner plate. As soon as I see that, I know that I've entered the East Greenland Current, which flows southwesterly. As soon as I see that ice and know that I'm in the current, then I will head down for Cape Farewell. I'm hoping that as I reach Cape Farewell, I'll get out of some of the heavier ice that's up north here, and I would like to get into Prince Christian Sound so that I can rest, I can get the boat into sheltered water. There's a village there, and there's also a weather station, which are two key elements to the next step. The next step is leaving Cape Farewell and heading, it's about 600 nautical miles to eastern Canada. I've got the benefit of coming down the east coast of Greenland with wind and the ocean current with me. Once I round Farewell Spit, or Cape Farewell, I'm probably going to lose that tailwind, in which case I will just have the sail to sail across the wind, which isn't as efficient, but it's better than just rowing. So the entire trip is somewhere around 1,300 to 1,400 miles from the Westman Islands, so from the Faroe Islands to Canada. And in that period of time, yes, there's going to be storms, and yes, there are going to be very difficult days, but it's like the rest of life. You have to expect the difficult times, and you have to have a plan. And I think what happens maybe with some people is that they hope that their life is going to be absolutely perfect, but no one's life is, and we have to have backup plans, and we have to have, well, safety plans built into whatever journey that we're on. And I'd like to think that this trip that I have planned for 6 years now, I have backups for everything. I have extra oars. I have extra communication devices. I have a device that if I get into very severe trouble, I can trigger it, and it sends a beacon out, a signal out, and it's a rescue beacon. I don't want to use that, but it would be very foolish for me to go into the North Atlantic Ocean and not have those types of technology on board. I have 2 sails, I have 2 kites, I have 2 sea anchors. So if the winds get very strong and they're right on the bow, I put out a sea anchor, which is basically a parachute, and it pulls the bow into the waves, and so the bow just rides up and over the waves, and I wait until the winds come back into my favor, and then I get the oars out again and proceed. I have a cook stove, which is very, very simple, and it basically, I just boil water, and I have, as I said earlier, I have 50 bags, 50 days of food on board, and they are foil bags that I pour boiling water into, tear the top of the bag off, and wait 10 minutes, and there's my dinner. So that's my kitchen. Sorry, that's my kitchen. So I just boil some water, tear the top of the foil bag off, and I'm set. My diet will be a lot of fat, cheese, dried fish, salami, butter, full cream, dried cream for coffee. And all these meals are very, very high calorie. So I'll be burning a lot of energy. Throughout the day, I will be rowing anywhere from 10 to 15 hours every day. And then sleeping probably the maximum 2 hours at a time. And then getting up and checking to make sure there's no shipping around me. And if everything is normal, I'll go back to bed, try to get another hour, hour and a half, and then just do that throughout the night.